Good evening and welcome to Bristol, Tennessee for race number two, I should say, in the first round of playoffs for the Coast to Coast iRacing Series here at the Half Mile Oval on concrete tonight. It's going to be slippery and it's going to be sliding around for these guys. Let's bring you up to speed with some of the information that we have here for tonight. The playoffs are in their first round. The first two races we are doing. Last week we did the first one. Tonight we are doing the second one, and the bracket is looking like this. And the first round in Chicago was won by Hank Caston. And the one mistake that I looked at, is that Hank Caston's name should already be in the round two bracket, because with that win he automatically qualifies for round number two. And all the other guys are going to have to do it on points, and you see the points there right in front of you. Kevin Woods in second, Michael Edwards in third, Ken MacArthur, Robbie Helms, Dalton Hayes, Sean Retallick, and Tanner Nowell. So far looking good, because the first 8 will move on to the second round after tonight. So Blake Powers, Brian Edmonds, Steve Anderson, and Brian Rose, they have their work cut out for them. Their only way they could make it without the points is if they would manage to pull off a win here tonight. A win automatically qualifies them for the next round, and then the rest of the 7 spots will be filled in on points. That is what we're looking at for tonight here in Bristol, Tennessee. And we're still currently under the practice session, and as you can see, we have 10 drivers that posted times during this practice session, and of which Michael Edwards is the quickest. We have Robbie Helms still out there on the track. Tonight we are going to be doing 210 laps this race. Let's bring you a little bit more information on the Bristol Motor Speedway. It's a half-mile oval. It is kind of built like I would say, a giant basketball stadium with a big court of race cars in the middle. And it's got a concrete surface, and that makes it a little bit trickier than most other tracks, because concrete by nature doesn't offer the same levels of grip as asphalt does, and that's why you see some guys trying out different lines here on this track. So it's currently 78 degrees ambient temperature. The relative humidity is 54%. It's partly cloudy, and there is no wind to speak of, which wouldn't really bother them in this stadium anyway. The track temperature, however, is 115 degrees Fahrenheit, and that makes for pretty hot conditions. That might hinder them some. And I'm not sure if you can tell, but some of these drivers are already showing a little bit of trouble keeping that car headed in the right direction. Some of them are trying the lower lines, some of them are trying the higher lines. You see the banking in the turns is pretty steep. I believe it's 14 degrees. And on the straights, the banking is not that significant, but still there. The apron is fairly wide. The apron does have asphalt, so sometimes on restarts you'll see guys go down on that apron to have a little bit more traction as they try to get off up to speed. There you see the 28 do a little bit of something there, picking up a little bit of that apron. But it makes for a tricky track here at Bristol, Tennessee. So we're going to have to see how all this pans out. So we're going to go over into qualifying here instantly. The qualifying is individual. They'll have 2 laps to get a time in. Best of 2 laps determines their grid positions. So currently 11 drivers registered for the race. And we'll go and see who brings out the car first. It is actually Brian Edmonds that does bring it out first. And he's on his way already. We also have Steve Anderson and Ken MacArthur on track. Let's stay here with Brian Edmonds in that 10th spot in the standings, in the bracket. So he's going to have to do either a win or score some good points to make sure he moves on to the next round in the playoffs for the Coast to Coast Racing Series. And they have 10 minutes, which is a fairly good amount of time to get their cars going here. We see Ken MacArthur posting the first time, and Ken has put in a 15.38. Let's bring those lap times up there for you. 15.375, that is the quickest lap so far, and he rounds it up with a second lap. It is actually Brian Edmonds that does run the quickest lap at this point. His second lap was a 15.324, and that is good work. Steve Anderson, let's see if we can still find him. There he is in the number 99 car. He is currently running into third place. Let's see if he can improve on that time, and it doesn't look like it. Yes, he does. Actually, he does. 15.304, and he takes it to the top of the timesheets there. We have Tanner Nowell on track in the number 14 Mobile One car, and he has posted a 15.768 and not going for that second lap, it doesn't look like. So we'll have to wait and see if we can get some other guys on track here. It looks like Robbie Helms is getting ready to go out in the number 18 car. There he goes. We have Michael Edwards getting ready to leave in the number 21. Hank Caston, leader in our brackets here for the playoffs. Hank Caston already qualified for the next round in the number... Oh, it looks like Hank is not running the 05 today. He's running the 36. Different paint scheme there. That's all right. We'll make do with that. We'll figure it out. Michael Edwards, he didn't go back. He didn't go out yet. The Hank Caston currently on track. And it looks like Robbie Helms in the number 18 car has picked up that provisional pole with a 15.037, and here we're waiting for Hank Caston to put in his time. Oh, he loses it. That makes the lap invalid. Well, that's not good for Hank. That's not a great start here tonight, but I'm sure he'll pick it up. Dalton Hayes in the 47 National Guard livery tonight with Superman on the hood. Superman is currently on his out lap. We see Michael Edwards, and there we see Dalton Hayes bringing it into the 6th position with a 15.99. Ooh, scraping the wall there. That will disallow the time that he is currently on. And he knows it, and he brings it sideways across the finish line. Michael Edwards in the 21. He is currently out there trying to get that qualifying time in. And as you can tell from some of the things that we've already seen, being on the apron in the turns is going to be really tricky. It's very easy to lose the back end of the car when you get too low on that apron in the turns. You see the 21 hugging that line, but not really going underneath it. So he is in 2nd position currently with the 15.170, and it is Robbie Helms that is currently the quickest guy. Nigel Christensen in the number 16 car. There we have him, Batman. He is on a good pace here, currently in 3rd position. And let's see if he improved on that. No, he did not. He's actually about a 1/10 of a second, 100th of a second slower. It's pretty close, but he'll have to be happy with this 3rd place there. And let's see if we still have anybody on track. Nope, we don't have anybody on track. We're actually missing quite a few drivers here, I would say. Brian Rose is not here. And he still has his position in the standings to defend. And I don't see, let me see, Sean Ritalik, I don't see him, and he's in 7th place in the bracket. We can bring that back up for you just really quickly here. There you have it. Sean Ritalik is in 7th position, and that means he might be in danger of not being promoted if he doesn't race. He can't beat him. And we have another driver coming onto the track, it looks like. DG Swiss there you have him in the mellow yellow car. Hey, he has not set a time yet, but he's working on it right now. Let's bring that back up for you. The number 25 car. And it looks like we have Carl Eck also getting ready to come out in the 83. And Hank Gaston's going to have to start from the back end there, and that's not where we normally see him. So he's got his work cut out for him. Of course, there's now only 11 entries in the race, so might help him a little bit. DG Swiss has posted the 8th time there. And his second lap was a tad quicker. That pushes him into 7th with a 15.653. And the only other car we have out there on the track currently is Carl Eck. And that will be the final attempt because Hank Gaston, he's already been out on track and he messed him up. Not being able to put times in. If you scrape the wall, iRacing will not allow a lap that's not clean. So, Carl actually messes up his out lap. Well, he had a little issue on the first lap, it looks like. The second lap is counted with a 15.586. That is pretty good. Pushes DG Swiss back to 8, and he steals that 7th place from him. All right, we have a little under 2. We've got about 2 minutes 40 seconds left to play around here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Once again, a half-mile track, concrete surface. If you look around you, you can see that the grandstands go up really high, and they're all around the track. And that's why I say it kind of looks like a giant baseball stadium to me with a racetrack inside of it. And as said, we have a pretty hot track, 118 degrees Fahrenheit. It's actually heating up as we speak. The temperature is 79 degrees. That's not too bad, but the track temperature is a little bit high for these guys, so that might play them. That might harm them a little bit in how they're going to run this thing, and obviously they're going to have to manage their tires. So 210 laps. One fast repair at their disposal on this race. That means that a fast repair means that they can get their damage instantly repaired one time. The fast repair does not include the time that is needed for tires and fuel, but it does include all the other damage on the car. So if they hit the wall and the sheet metal is damaged, the suspensions are crooked, and the engine's blown up, and the radiator's missing, it doesn't matter what, everything else except for tires and fuel can be instantly repaired on that one fast repair stop. They actually can check or uncheck it, so they have their own. They can decide for themselves whether they want to use it or not. On a short track, some minor damage is not that big of a deal. Aero is not important here at all. So some of the drivers, if they sustain some damage in the beginning of the race, they might just want to hold on to what they have and wait for that fast repair to use later in the race. That might actually help them a little bit later on, obviously. So we'll have to wait and see how all this plays out. Yeah, we have about a half a minute left before they will start lining them up. And as said, Hank Gaston had a little bit of a not so great qualifying here in both his laps. Not approved by iRacing. Minor issues, obviously, but he's going to have to start from the rear, so he'll have his work cut out for him. 11 cars that are going to be taking the start here, and let's take a look at the grid here for you. We have the cars lining up on the main straightaway behind the truck there. On pole position, it's going to be Robbie Helms, the number 18 car. Then it's going to be Michael Edwards alongside him on the outside, the number 21. Then Nigel Christensen and Steve Anderson occupy the second row there. The third row will be Brian Edmonds and Ken MacArthur. And on the fourth row will be Carl Eck and DG Swiss in the number 26 car. Then it's going to be Tanner Nowell and Dalton Hayes on the fifth row. And as said, it's going to be Hank Kasten in the number 05 car. He's actually running a different car here tonight, different paint scheme. There you have him, number 36. So we'll keep an eye out for that, and hopefully not too confusing for you. And he is starting at the 11th position. Car is waiting for the pace car to get rolling. And it looks like some of them are getting eager to go. We're waiting on Carl Eck, the number 7 car that is supposed to be right alongside the 26 there. You see the empty spot. We're waiting for Carl Eck to grid up. Might actually be that he will be the administrator for this race and that we only are racing with 10 cars. Not sure. So this is your man on a mission here, Hank Kasten, on the final spot there. He's gonna have his he's gonna have some work here tonight to move his way up. And there we see the guys moving out, getting ready to take the start here. Robbie Helms on pole position with Michael Edwards right alongside him in the 21 car. And we have Nigel Christensen in the 16, Steve Anderson in the 99, Ken MacArthur there in the 97, with Brian Edmonds on his inside in the 28. Then it's DG Swiss in the mellow yellow car there. It's Dalton Hayes that can occupy that empty spot there. That is okay. And then we have Kasten and Dalton Hayes here at the back end. Nicely lined up here. One more time around before we go green. 210 laps. It's a fairly long race on a very tight track here. And for most of these guys, it'll be all about tire management and making sure they stay out of trouble. Ooh, there we see the Mobil 1 car going down low. Okay, he's just teasing us. And there we go. We are racing here at Bristol, Tennessee for 210 laps. Oh, and there we see somebody in trouble already. That looks like Nigel Christensen. I have no idea what happened there. Let's bring that back. There they go. The pace car is going inside, and it looks to me like he just gets on the gas pretty hard and, yeah, loses the back end, and then tries to get off the gas, and then he's on the apron there. Too much power on the driven wheels there for the number 16 of Nigel Christensen. And hopefully he can get it back on the way. There he goes. He's got some damage on the back end. He was tapped in the back by Brian Edmonds, I believe. Yeah, Brian's got damage on front and rear. Well, only on the rear, really. I guess that's because whoever was behind him on the start had to also get on that brake pedal pretty hard. That's not a good start of the race, unfortunately, for Nigel Christensen, already into the pits. And maybe we'll get a demonstration of that faster pair here for you. Ooh, he misses his pit stop. Yep, there you see it. The car is instantly repaired. So the number 16 of Nigel Christensen has used up that faster pair. He's going to get new tires right away as well. Top off the fuel tank, and we'll have to make sure that, well, I was going to say, he needs to make sure that that the other people are not catching up with him before he leaves the pit. You see there, he's not going to go down a lap. He will catch up to the back end, staying on the lead lap. Well, that didn't give us much time to race. First lap not even completed. But stuff like that happens, and you know what, it's not always that easy. You're very low in speed. You're in first gear. It's pretty easy to get it wrong and spin the tires. There we see Brian Edmonds also coming into the pits. This would be one of those moments where you could really think, you know what, let's get this show on the road first and save that fast repair for a later moment. That is actually what Brian is doing. He's just getting some tires, it looks like. He's leaving that car as it is. Maybe trying to get a little bit of it pounded out. And then, once again, he needs to be careful not to go down a lap. He needs to get going. There he goes. There he goes. He's not going to go down a lap. It looks like we have one more yellow lap to go. He will be catching up to the back end of the pack. The lights on the truck are out. That means that we are lining them up side by side, and we're going to try this again. And as said, Brian Edmonds is on the back end of the field. You'll see him coming up there at the top of your screen. Well, maybe not. Let's bring him up here real quick. There, he's catching up to him, and he's leaving that damage for what it is right now. All right, attempt number 2.
Green.
There we go. Robbie Helms early on the gas, pulling away a little bit from Michael Edwards. And it is Ken MacArthur in third position with Steve Anderson behind him. The field is a little bit stretched out now. Looks like everybody is finding their groove and calming down already. There, Ken MacArthur in the shiny car there, the 97, that's third position. Steve Anderson in fourth. Tanner Nowell in fifth. Hank Caston already up to sixth position. I told you that was going to go quick. DG Swiss is in seventh. Brian Edmonds seems to be closing in on DG Swiss already. Dalton Hayes and Nigel Christensen, they are duking it out here for the final position. Let's go back up to the front where Robbie Helms is trying to hold off Michael Edwards. And it looks like Robbie Helms is comfortable on that higher line, middle line. Gives him a good momentum off the turns. Michael Edwards right there behind him, also staying fairly high. Let's ride along with him and take a look at how that looks from his perspective. There you can see him working the wheel coming off the turns. It's very easy to spin the tires coming off the turns and lose the back end. And as you can tell from the driver's point of view, this is a very narrow and tight, short little track. Very high banking that kind of invites you to go faster than you sometimes want to be. And Steve Anderson still in the third position with Ken MacArthur, or I should say he took over his third position from Ken MacArthur. And look who's coming up behind him already. That's Hank Caston on the higher line there in the 36 car. Working his way through the field already, up in fifth position. Taking the high side now from the 97, and that forces the 97 to stay low and be careful getting on the gas. So he's now already in fourth position, going after Steve. Pushing himself in between him and the wall there, and there you have it. Hank Caston is kind of walking over everybody here, already in the third position, and he looks very comfortable on that high side. On his way now to catch up with Edwards and Helms. Well, let's ride along with Hank here. Likes to stay high, it looks like, and then comes down a little bit for the exit. You can already look at the 2 leaders having about a straightaway length of a distance on him, and he's clearly closing in already. There you have him, Hank Aston. That mission didn't take him all that long. Let's go a little further back in the field and check on Dalton Hayes. He's having a little trouble keeping up. Tanner Nowell in 14 has dropped back to the 9th position. Nigel Christensen, with that early problem in his fixed car, is behind Brian Edmonds. Both of them trying to work their way a little bit forward. They're behind DG Swiss in the 26 car. Then it's Steve Anderson in the 99 that's been passed by Ken MacArthur. And that is the 4th position, and that brings us back towards Hank Aston in 3rd. Let's go check on your leader here. Robbie Helms in the number 18 car in 1st position. Michael Edwards hanging with him pretty good in the 21, but not close enough to make anything meaningful happen. Hank Aston is already bringing the distance down to 2 seconds. Moving quickly. Michael Edwards, and if you look at it from the back end, there you see Hank Aston coming up. Both these drivers staying fairly high on the entry of the turn. And you can even visually see that Hank Aston is just simply reeling these guys in fairly quickly, down to 1.3 seconds already. Visually, clearly coming closer by every turn he takes. There you have him, Hank Aston in the 36 machine. Brought it down to less than a second already. It's now 7/10 of a second. He is, he's about, well, let's say 2/10 of a second per lap quicker than Michael Edwards. Robbie Helms has actually got pretty good pace as well. He's walking away from Michael Edwards. There you have Robbie. He's moving out. He's moving out. He's got 1.8 seconds on these two guys. Hank Aston closing in on Michael Edwards now to try and steal that 2nd position from him. "32 laps behind our belt already." It is Hank Aston going for that 2nd position now on the backstretch, going down underneath the 21. Can he make it stick? On the main straightaway, it looks like the 21 gets off the turn a little bit better on that high side. The high side gives you a little bit, it gives you the opportunity to get on the gas just that little bit earlier and harder than when you're on the bottom. Especially on the bottom, you have to really watch for that car washing up when you exit the turn too hard. So Hank is trying different lines here, seeing if he can get some momentum and then come back down as he exits the turn. He would like to go high. We've seen him do that. But the 21's not letting him. Ooh, there they got almost touched there. But Hank is he bailed out on it there. Didn't pursue that move. And it looks like behind there, DG Swiss and Ken MacArthur are duking it out for 4th and 5th now. DG Swiss has picked up that 4th position from Ken MacArthur. And it looks like he's kind of walking away from Ken. Well, let's bring you back here to Hank Caston, who's still behind Michael Edwards, trying to get this car on that high side, and there he gets it. 21 not quite giving up just yet, but that higher side just seems to be working so much better here for these guys. Hank Caston picks up second position. You can see Michael Edwards getting in a little bit trouble there, a little bit loose on the back end. 39 laps on these tires on a very hot track. Maybe those tires are starting to fall off already. So now we're going to have to keep an eye on, that 14 car there of Tanner Nowell. He's been in trouble. He's missing some parts there. And that is definitely going to cost him quite a bit of speed. He's being lapped already. And he's going to be hoping and praying for a yellow there to get that car fixed. He doesn't want to do it under green, obviously. Under green would cost him way too much time. And Hank Caston about 3.6 seconds behind Robbie Helms. And Caston and Helms are running equal lap times currently, so Caston's not closing in on Helms as quickly as he probably would hope to. Helms is doing a pretty good job. He's running equal lap times as Caston. And obviously they're going to have to start dealing with the back markers. 47 of Dalton Hayes is up next. Dalton is dealing with Nigel Christensen in front of him. Ooh, and there we see Ken MacArthur deciding to go into the pits early on, 45 laps in. Michael Edwards doing the same thing. That seems pretty early to me, but maybe they're just figuring, there's no point in trying to risk running into the wall if your tires aren't working for you. Ken is already leaving the pits there. And you'll see that those guys will be losing at least a lap and a half or better on the guys that stay out there. There you have Michael Edwards returning into the race. Robbie Helms and Hank Caston now 2.1, 2.2 seconds difference between each other. It's DG Swiss in the third position. It is Steve Anderson hanging on to fourth. It's Dalton Hayes in fifth. Brian Edmonds in sixth. And he's got Nigel Christensen right there with him, and you're looking at the pass. Nigel Christensen going around the outside of the 28 there, picking up sixth position. Tanner Nowell still running, but he's about half a second slower than everybody else. And it's not horrible. I mean, he misses the arrow on the front end. The car's probably pushing quite a bit, but it's not like he's way off pace. That would be unfair to say that. We see Robbie Helms lapping the 47 car there of Dalton Hayes. That means that we only have 4 drivers left on the lead lap. And next up is Anderson, and that's not going to be that long because he's right there in front of your leader. The white car that you're looking back at, that is your leader, Robbie Helms. And it looks like the 21, that is Michael Edwards. He pitted, and he is quicker than everybody else on those fresh tires. He has unlapped himself. Well, not quite. He's taken one of his laps away. He was 2 laps down. He's only 1 lap down. But you could see he was definitely a lot quicker than Robbie Helms there. Let's go check on Caston. He's kind of stuck behind that 47 as well. 47 is clearly quicker now than him on those fresh tires, but I will say Hank Gaston's keeping up with him pretty good. And that is not, I'm sorry, that is Dalton Hayes. He's not on fresh tires. He's actually almost going to get lapped by Hank Gaston. Mixing my cars up there. Hank Gaston is about 1.2 seconds behind Robbie Helms, and that seems to be shrinking a little bit. Not very fast. And it kind of shows you how tough it is to pass here on the half-mile high-banked oval. It's not easy. There we see Hank going underneath, forcing the 47 to stay high, but then coming off the turn, that high side is really where you want to be. Although the year Hank really proves me wrong. On that lower side, he's just a strong runner, a racer overall. He definitely knows how to handle that car and how to keep it in line, and he is definitely closing on Robbie Helms now. It is less than half a second. He sees him right in front of him. The white car that you see there in front of him with the R on the hood, that is Robbie Helms. And Robbie is kind of stuck behind the 99 there of Steve Anderson, and that is not for position. Steve Anderson is hoping not to go down a lap. Ooh, there he touches the wall, and that means he's going to have to let him go. Helms and Gaston by the 99 there as he bounces off the wall. That could have been a lot worse. Gaston now clearly the quicker car. 0.2 of a second quicker than Robbie. And a little bit further back we have DG Swiss hanging on to third position, 7 seconds behind Gaston and 10 seconds ahead of Dalton Hayes. Let's bring her back up to the leaders here. That's where the action is. There you see Hank trying to get around him. And it looks like he gets it done. Look at that. The 18 way low and just not quick enough off the turn. Hank Gaston is your new leader here in Bristol. The 36 car. He's very comfortable high there. Very, very good. And we see Ken MacArthur on the apron here. Is he coming into the pits? No, not really. I don't know. I'm not sure what happened to him. We can try to see that in the replay. Ooh, he blows his engine, it looks like. You don't see that very often. He's running not on all cylinders anymore, and it kind of tells you that he may have been shifting down for the turns and giving it a little bit too much there. He's in the pit. He took a tow. Hank Gaston behind the 16 car now of Nigel Christensen, puts him down another lap. Christensen now on 2 laps deficit. Only 3 drivers on the lead lap. Gaston, Helms, and Swiss. Lap 69. So we're pretty much on 1/3 of the race here. 70, lap 70. And at 21 is trying to get some of that back. He is now back on the lead lap. As you can see him passing the leader. That is Michael Edwards that had brought himself back onto the lead lap. So with that early pit stop, he has brought himself back on the lead lap. And now with the caution coming out, that is a good thing for him. Let's go find out what the caution's for. It's the number 16 car. It looks like. I can't find any other incident. It's the number 16 car that bounces off the wall there. I can't really tell if something else happened to him. He's fairly slow, and that's why iRacing probably called that caution. So that means that everybody that has not pitted yet is taking advantage and doing so. There you have Robbie Helms. Hank Caston is in the pit as well. And that brings DG Swiss in the lead, and he's staying out there. He has not pitted just yet. 73 laps on one set of tires and not looking to come in. Hank Caston and Robbie Helms come back out, and the only ones that have passed him is Swiss and Edwards. And everybody else staying behind there. And there you see DG Swiss coming in the pits after all. It just always amazes me that they don't do that on the same lap as the leaders. Behind him we see the number 14, Tanner Nowell. He'll probably be using that faster pair here. There you see it. Car fixed. He's back in good shape. And he's 2 laps down, so he's got his work cut out for him, but we still got a ways to go. He might be okay. So pretty much everybody else has been in the pits now. And it didn't hurt Swiss all that much. He's still in 3rd position, although he's got the 99 in front of him, and that would be Steve Anderson. That is a lap down from him. Brian Edmonds still not using that faster pair. Might not be hurting him that much. Maybe he's hoping that if he uses it later in the race, it'll give him a bit of an advantage. Brian is only 1 lap down. There's your leader, Hank Caston, with Robbie Helms in 2nd and DG Swiss in 3rd. It'll be interesting to see what they can do on equally fresh rubber here, as they will get the green flag here in a little bit. Hank is opting for the high side on the restart. Well, we know he's comfortable on that high side, so that doesn't really surprise me. Especially on these shorter tracks, you see a lot of guys do that. Stay on the high side if you're the first position. Pace car's in, so we're going to get ready. There we go, Hank Caston. Kind of waits a little bit before he gets... Oh, and there the number 18 does the exact same thing that we saw on the start of the race, and he takes a few guys with him. Oh, boy. Let's bring that back for you. Keep an eye on the 26 there. He's going to get caught up in it. The 18 too early on the gas, too hard on the gas, I should say. Spinning the wheels, losing the back end. The 26 gets caught up in it. And a 99 got caught up in it as well there. Let's see how he... Yeah, he can't avoid the 26, and he gets caught up in that thing again. 14 of the 14 of Nowell fortunately stays away from it. He just had that car repaired, and at least it didn't go bad on the start lap there. We see DG Swiss going to the pits. He still has that faster pair, I believe. I'm actually not sure if he does or not. Nope, he doesn't. He's going to have to do with it. Well, that's one quick guy for Hank Caston that's been pushed back to the far end of the field. Robbie Helms there. It looks like he got a little bit of damage on the front end, but not too bad. Dalton Hayes has gone into the pits. That looks to be just for tires and fuel. Well, not even that. He's not taking tires. Brian Edmonds in the pits. He is taking tires, and he's still not getting that car repaired. He must not be too unhappy with it. Not sure what the deal with Dalton is here. Maybe trying to get rid of some of the sheet metal damage just manually. There he goes. He didn't take tires. Swiss back into pits again. Christensen also coming into the pits. He's got the front end a little bit crumbled up. And it may have been that DG just overshot his pit too much and decided to just take another lap instead of backing it up. He's not taking a fast repair. I don't believe Christensen is taking... Yeah, he's getting repaired a little bit. May not be fast repair, but he's getting some of that stuff beat out there. And it's DG back out. Christensen still in there. But they're going out just in time, as you can tell. Not going down another lap. And that is Robbie Helms in front of him. And we're getting ready to get going once again.
Green.
There we go. They wait for the call. They don't necessarily have to do that unless race admin has told them to. Caston on the higher side there, holding off the 21 of Michael Edwards. Edwards nosing ahead there. On the high side, it's Caston coming back. They're side by side racing for that lead. And you can tell that coming into the turn is quicker on the lower side, but going off of the turn is better on the high side. The 21 noses ahead in the turns, and then the Caston gets him back on that higher side when he comes off the turn. And it looks like Hank is settling this thing. Michael slotting in behind him now. A couple of car lengths in between there. DG Swiss there running in third. Dalton Hayes in fourth. Robbie Helms in fifth. And you see Brian Edmonds and Steve Anderson, and they are duking it out for position. And now they have the 18 car to worry about. That's a lap. He's a lap ahead of them. It's kind of splitting them up here. Tanner Nowell back into the pits. Not sure what happened to him. We can try to see if we can find anything. Well, he's blown the engine. He's done more than that. Let's see what happens here. Oh, he loses the back end, noses it into the wall, engine smoking. That may be his night, because I believe he's already used that fast repair. So that'll be lengthy repairs there. Caston and Edwards. Edwards closing back in on Caston a little bit. And it's kind of surprising that Edwards is liking that lower side. But it does seem to work for him. Anderson also in the pit. He may have had an issue there because it looks like he's got the... He crumbled up that nose. It's too far back. Can't find it. Ooh, the 21 loses it there. Gets on the apron. Luckily stays out of the wall. But that's what you get when you get onto the gas too hard there. Let's bring that back for you. When you get off the turn on that lower side and you hit that gas too hard, that back end's just wanting to come around, and he almost loses it, but it's a pretty good save. I will give him that. It loses him about a second towards Hank Caston, though. And Swiss seems to be doing all right here in third position, not really closing in all that much on Edwards. Robbie Helms in fourth position. Seems to slowly gain a little bit on Swiss. Not going very quickly, but he's a little bit quicker. Dalton Hayes in fifth position. Sixth position is for Brian Edmonds, who is in front of Hayes on track. And for Edmonds, it's just a matter of making sure he's going to keep scoring some good points. Some of the guys that are higher than him in the standings are not here, like Retallick. Nowell is in problem, and he's behind him. So Brian Edmonds just needs to keep this show going and make sure he's going to score some good points, and hopefully that'll get him to the next round. And it looks like up front that things have changed around a little bit once again. We missed that one. Let's see if we can bring that back for you. Here's where it's happening. The 21 gets underneath. And he gets a good run off the turn there, picking up the lead. Hank Caston in second, half a second behind. Did he ask too much of his tires early on? And we see Swiss going into the pits with a smoking engine. What happened to him? Ooh, it just blows up. Maybe if we go inside the car, we can hear what's going on. A little bit further back. Nope, it's already happened. Well, he's got it back going. Maybe he still did have that faster pair left and saved it for the moment he needed it the most. DG Swiss currently in 7th position, 2 laps behind the leaders. Michael Edwards and Hank Caston still going at it. Anderson and Nowell have not left the pit. So we have 8 cars running left in this race. We are on lap 105, halfway into the race. Caston here in 2nd position. Let's ride along with him here for a little bit. Both of them staying close to that wall there. Hank Caston coming underneath. Nope, he's not close enough. That's a beautiful sight. Hank Caston is very precise, very smooth on the wheel. There you see him coming down to the 21 now. Yeah, he gets it underneath, but the 21's got the higher line. Side by side, it looks like Hank has got pretty good grip pretty much everywhere he goes. And part of that is saving your tires, and part of that is being smooth. Being smooth is helping him to make those tires last a lot longer than anybody else, it looks like. Ooh, scrapes the wall there just slightly. Hank picks up that lead once again. And it looks like Edwards is dropping back a little bit now. Robbie Helms is now in 3rd position, as DG Swiss has gone to the pits earlier, as we saw. DG is right behind him there on fresh tires, but he's unlapping himself from Robbie. That's not for position. Dalton Hayes in 4th. Brian Edmonds doing a really good job here tonight. 5th position. He really needs those points. First of the lap drivers. Behind him is Nigel Christensen, and that's fairly close. And we have Michael Edwards going into the pits. Lap 114. And that puts Robbie back in 2nd position. 16 seconds. No. 7 seconds down from Kasten. And it looks to me like Kasten is still the faster car. 41 back out, trying to save his race for a little bit. He did have a lengthy pit stop there, and Steve Anderson is still in the pits. It looks like Hank Kasten's got this thing under control. Robbie Helms is in 2nd, but he's not quicker. He's actually losing about 2/10 of a second. Dalton Hayes is about as quick as Robbie. He's in 3rd position. Brian Edmonds now in 4th. He's about 1/10 of a second slower than Dalton Hayes, so he's not gaining there. Christensen is coming a little bit closer to him. Ooh, it looks like Christensen just bounced off the wall there. Brian Edmonds is doing good work here tonight. 4th position, that will earn him some really good points. And like I said, with Retallick not being here, MacArthur not being here. Oh, MacArthur is here, but he's behind him. Nowell behind him, so he's going to pick up some good points. Ken MacArthur back into pit lane. Tanner Nowell hanging on there. He's got quite a bit of time to make up with 31 laps down. Kasten not having any major issues. Working his way through traffic. He's letting by the 26. DG Swiss is unlapping himself from one of his 2 laps down. Robbie Helms 8 seconds behind the leader. And Dalton Hayes is fairly close of also getting a lap on him. He's got DG Swiss behind him. DG will be trying to unlap him, and the car behind there, you see, that's the leader, Hank Kasten. There you see the 26 taking a lap back. Tanner Nowell back into the pits. Had another issue. Let's see if we can find out what happened here. It's got to be here somewhere, because here he still has that nose. Oops, and there he's gone. He's got a connection issue. That is pretty clear. And meanwhile, DG Swiss has unlapped himself. Only 1 lap down from the leader now. Hank Kasten is still your leader. Pretty consistent on his... Ooh! What happened here?
Caution, yellow flag.
Oh, it's DG Swiss. I was going to say, it For a moment, I thought it was our leader. It's the 26 of DG Swiss that's going to get, a little bit of net coat there. Where iRacing thinks that they're going to touch, and they really didn't touch. Then he spins it around, and the 47 can't avoid him. The leader, Hank Caston, can. That's good news for him. He looks to be okay. 47 getting the wave around. So lap 131, we have another yellow due to the incident of DG Swiss there. See how he is faring coming off of that, missing the front end. Back end all crumbled in. And he's taken to the pits and probably going to see if he can fix all that stuff. Everybody going into the pits now. Caston, Helms, Hayes, Mike Edwards staying out. Brian Edmonds into the pits, DG Swiss into the pits. He does not have that fast repair left, I don't think. And I don't believe that Brian is using it. Nope, he's just taking tires. Christensen there. Robbie Helms. Caston back out. And Helms is taking his sweet time. Dalton Hayes passing him by. There we go. Fairly sure how Robbie had him try to get some of that sheet metal straightened out a little bit. Swiss into the pits. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of action going on there as far as tire changes is concerned. He might be calling it a night. MacArthur still running. He's 10 laps down, but if he keeps running and DG Swiss doesn't, then at least he's going to pick up a little bit of a position. Dalton Hayes seems to be going back into pit lane. Well, I guess he just topped off the fuel tank. He might be a little bit worried that he's not going to make it. Caston on the outside once again. The field's not bunched up all that nice either.
Green, green, green.
There we go. Caston picks up. The 28 does it the same thing. That's Brian Edmonds. Loses it on the start. Too much on the throttle. There you see it. Losing the back end. Nipping the wall. Doesn't look like it's too bad, but it's not necessary. Caston in front. Helms in second. And it looks like Robbie Helms is starting to challenge Hank Caston. Clearly showing himself to Hank Caston, coming a bit off the line. And Edmonds hanging on there behind these two guys. The 97 is behind Brian Edmonds, and that is not for position. Oh, actually, that's my mistake. That's the 16 of Christensen, and that is for position. The 16 also getting in a little trouble there, coming off the turn. Ken MacArthur still running. Ooh, he gets into trouble. Caston and Helms still going at it here. Michael Edwards kind of by himself in that 21 car.
The yellow flag is out.
Ooh, we have a yellow. Something has happened. Let's go find out what it is. '97 bouncing off the wall. No, 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 no. It's the 16 getting into trouble. There you have it. Sliding, losing that back end, saving it once again, not hitting anything. Good job. And that brings Helms and Edwards and Hayes. They decided to go into pit lane. Caston staying out. Now he changes his mind. Nope, he's just trying to fool people behind him. So Brian Edmonds back on the lead lap, now in second place. He might be surprising us here a little bit tonight. And then he goes into the pits. Of course, he had to wait because he was a lap down, so he couldn't pit the lap earlier. Hank Caston changes his mind and does go back into the pit. That brings Robbie Helms in the lead. Edwards now in second. Hayes now in third. And that'll bring Caston and Edmonds out in fourth and fifth position. It should be. Well, Brian taking a long time. He might be waiting on those guys to come around before he moves. There he goes, making sure he stays on the lead lap. So we have Robbie Helms now in the lead in front of Michael Edwards. Then it's Dalton Hayes, then it's Hank Caston, and then it'll be Brian Edmonds in fifth position. Took advantage to get some more repairs there. I'm kind of surprised he still hasn't used that fast repair. In the heat of the moment, some drivers just aren't aware of it. Sometimes they race in other leagues where they don't have those fast repairs, so they don't always automatically think about it. See Ken MacArthur going into the pits. Ken is 9 laps down. His car doesn't look all that bad, but he's probably had some issues. Swiss is still running. That car doesn't look like its original design anymore. 14 laps down. Helms has chosen the outside line just like Caston did. There we go. Helms is early on the gas. Pulls. Oh, the 21 does it again.
Yellow flag is out.
Oh, boy. There you have it. The 21 too early on the gas. This time Caston gets collected. Oh, that is bad news for Hank Caston. Let's bring that back for you. Look at the number 36 car and the 21 car. The 21 is a little slow on the gas, then hits the pedal too hard, loses the back end, and collects the 36. Christiansen is not clear either. Let's look at his situation here. He tries to get out of the way and slow down, but the 28 taps him in the back. Well, that brings Caston to pit road. Well, not yet, but I'm sure he will. Not sure if Caston used that fast repair. I can't remember. I don't believe so. And there he decides to go down on the apron and get himself fixed up. We'll say he's got a pretty nice looking car. Doesn't take a fast repair. I hope he's not just forgetting. Meanwhile, we had Michael Edwards come into the pits as well. Dalton Hayes, Brian Edmonds back into the pits. Still not taking that repair. I'm pretty sure he never used it. Hank Caston didn't use it. Nigel Christensen's coming in. MacArthur hanging on. 8 laps down now, so he's gaining some of that back. Swiss is still running. And Robbie Helms is your leader. Edwards in second. Hayes in third. Brian Edmonds in fourth. Caston in fifth. So it didn't really hurt him all that much. I'm just kind of surprised he didn't have that fast repair anymore. I don't believe he had any trouble early on. Well, they're lining them back up. Lights on the pace car are out. There we go. Helms once again early on the gas. Michael Edwards does better this time. And Brian Edmonds picks up third position from Dalton Hayes. Edwards there in the 28 car. Edmonds is in the 21 car. Dalton Hayes here in the 47. He's already being attacked here by Hank Caston. Even though that car is damaged, he does find the speed. Caston picks up fourth position. He's definitely not giving up. Let's go check on your leader, Robbie Helms. Michael Edwards seems to be closing that gap a little bit. Do we have a fight for the lead brewing? Edwards seems to be in pretty good shape. Let's ride along with him. Yeah, it looks to me like Edwards is doing pretty good. If you look at his hand movements, we have a yellow flag. Let's go find out what's going on. It's the 47 of Dalton Hayes. Let's see what happened here. We've seen him do this before, coming off the turn. A little bit too quickly on the gas. Backhand steps out. Not able to save it. This time he does catch the wall all by himself. And he does wait nicely before he gets going, not to collect anybody. Dalton Hayes back on his way. Edwards in the pits. Edmonds in the pits. Caston back in the pits. Did he think about his faster pair this time? Nope. He's just trying to get it fixed up. And once again, they'll be waiting for those guys to come around, and they'll have those mechanics beating on that sheet metal as long as they can. It looks like Christensen had the wave around. All right, Hank, it's about time to get going. There you go. That keeps Hank in 5th position. Still on the lead lap. The only last driver on the lead lap. The trouble is sometimes if they have very, very minor damage and they don't forget to take that check mark away for that faster pair, they kind of waste that faster pair when it was really not necessary. Christensen going into the pits. Caston going back into the pits, so he's going to have him pound out some more. Yeah, that could be the issue, that he just kind of wasted that faster pair on an earlier pit stop where he really didn't need it. If you forget to uncheck that thing, that happens. Swiss back in the pits. Yeah, he's not giving up. There you see the field coming down to turn 3 and 4. And Hank is keeping an eye on that, I can assure you that. There he goes. And with being out a little bit quicker than Nigel, he already picks up a position too. 4th position for Caston. I can guarantee you he's not quitting. Brian Edmonds now in 2nd. I do believe Brian actually finally used that faster pair. That car looks in good condition now.
Green, green, green.
There we go, back racing again. And it looks like Brian's careful on the gas. He's seen people be in trouble. He doesn't want to be the next one. And he keeps up with the 18 fairly good there. Robbie Helms now pulling away. The 21 of Michael Edwards looking to close in on the 28th. And Brian just kind of lets him go, it looks like. Trying to hold his line, but he knows that 21 is probably a little bit quicker. He might as well settle for 3rd place and keep it on the track. But I will tell you, Brian Edmonds is doing really good work here, and he's given himself a chance to get into that next round on points by scoring good here. And with, like I said, Retallick not being here, MacArthur being behind him quite a ways. Nowell being behind him, so yeah, he's doing a good job. You can tell it is not the pace that he can follow there. He's about 0.4 of a second slower than Edwards. And currently, Michael Edwards is the quickest car on the track. He's closing in on Robbie Helms. Let's see how far behind Caston is. Caston is gaining on Edmonds. Michael Edwards is definitely working his way towards Robbie Helms' number 18 car here. Lap time's fairly similar. Edwards currently a little bit quicker. once again, it looks like the 18, you know, from a distance, it might look like the 18 just leaves that door wide open, but that higher line just works so well for him coming off the turn that even though the 21 may stick that nose underneath there, it's just not that easy to pass on that lower side. And it looks like Hank Caston is gaining on Brian Edmonds by about 1/10 of a second per lap. Edwards still behind the leader there, Robbie Helms. Then they're passing to 47 of Dalton Hayes. Nicely going out of the way. That's good sportsmanship. It's bad enough as it is on these tight little tracks. There you're looking at Michael Edwards in pursuit of Robbie Helms. And then it looks like the 21 is coming underneath. But like I said, that higher line for the 18 works well coming off the turn. You can see it. You can see it. He's quicker off the turn. And by, I will say, Brian Edmonds is hanging on to that third spot pretty good. Hank Caston is not really that much quicker. It's pretty close. Lap 180 of 210. We're getting closer to the finish here. We have 30 laps to go, and those laps tick away pretty quickly when it's green. Michael Edwards hanging on. Not really quicker, but not really slower. It's just kind of staying the same. Caston is now, he's moving in on Edmonds. He's still hugging that higher line there. There you see the front end damage on Caston's car. And behind Caston, it's the 16 of Christensen, 5 laps down. He went to the pit. Not sure if there's something wrong with him, but there's a huge gap between Caston and Christensen. Robbie Helms hanging on to that lead, building it out just a little bit. Brian Edmonds is still hanging on to third, and Hank Caston doesn't seem to be much quicker than Edmonds right now. And that might be the fact that Edmonds had his car fixed and Caston is running without a nose there. It's not a huge difference, but it's not helping, I can tell you that. It's not so much that he loses on top speed because the aero is not that important, but he's probably just missing just enough wind on that front end in the turns to make that car push. Hey, Edwards had an issue. What happened? What happened? What happened? Look at the 21 car. Something's going on with the 21 car. We missed that. He may have just used up those tires completely, and he's dropping back to 4th position. Brian Edmonds now in 2nd with Hank Caston in 3rd and Edwards in 4th. Yes, I will say Brian Edmonds is doing a really, really good job here, trying to get himself to move on to the next round. I don't have the immediate points available for you, but I'm pretty sure that if he finishes second here, he's going to be in that next round. Tanner Nowell still running 66 laps behind the leader. Lap 193. Brian Edmonds doing a very, very good job here tonight. Still holding off Caston. He'll be picking up some really good points. And it looks like he's also starting to try that higher line more and more and more, figuring out that that's where the momentum is. And there we see Caston trying to make a move. And the fact that he can't keep going tells me that car has a little bit of a understeer problem with that nose missing. He can't keep that momentum up alongside the 28 on the lower side. Now he's trying the high side. We see Dalton Hayes going very slowly into the pits. Once again, Hank Caston trying to the inside. He gets alongside, but the 28 runs a little high, and he's got to give that position to Caston. Brian Edmonds to third. Edwards is losing a bit of ground on these guys in fourth. And with 7 laps down, what do you know? Ken MacArthur is picking up 5th position as he goes into the pits. Dalton Hayes into pits. Swiss coming back out. Christensen in the pits. Robbie Helms still in the lead. He's got 2.5 seconds on Caston, and that is going down. Now that Caston has passed Edmonds, he seems to be the fastest car on the track. So by himself, the push doesn't seem to bother him all that much. It's just making the pass. That's what makes it a little harder, obviously. But as he drives by himself, he's quicker than the rest of them. And we're heading into lap 205. We have 6 more laps to go. Swiss coming back out of the pits. Robbie Helms running strong. To Nowell there in the 14 car, struggling. Dalton Hayes is still standing still, as is Christensen. Brian Edmonds hanging on to third. The car behind him is not for position. That is GG Swiss. Let's go check on Caston, see how he's doing, catching up with Helms. Yeah, it doesn't look like Caston is gaining that much anymore. He's not quicker than Robbie Helms, and Robbie Helms will be picking up the white flag here as we go to the final lap at Bristol. Robbie Helms is going to lock himself into that next round, or is he? Yes, he is. Robbie Helms wins at Bristol in front of Hank Caston. A very well-deserved and good third place for Brian Edmonds. Fourth place will be Michael Edwards, the final car on the lead lap. And then 9 laps down, it's Ken MacArthur, then it's Gigi Swiss. Hayes is in the pits, Christensen, but they will score their points, obviously. Tanner Nowell in 9th, Anderson in 10th. Well, let's bring up those race results for you here in Bristol, Tennessee. As said, it's Robbie Helms. Good win for him. He locks himself into the next round of the playoffs. And then it's going to be Hank Caston. He is already locked in. Brian Edmonds scoring very, very good points. And the good part about his story is that some of the guys that were ahead of him in the standings were not here tonight. Retallick, Nowell and Hayes are behind him in this race, so he is picking up some good points, and I'm fairly sure Brian is going to make it to that next round. He was in 10th position. He's going to move up some. Michael Edwards is in 4th position in this race. He looks like he's fairly sure also moving on to that next round. Ken MacArthur, he looks like he's in good position as well. DG Swiss, that is going to be a different story. He is not in the playoffs. Then it's Dalton Hayes. He might be in trouble. And but I can't calculate it, but he might be on that edge there. Nigel Christensen, he is not in the playoffs. And then Tanner Nowell, he is definitely going to be in trouble, finishing in 8th position behind all these other guys. He was right there on that edge on 8th position, so he's going to be in trouble, I believe. Steve Anderson, and he is not going to make it to the next round either. So that is unfortunate for these guys, but I salute the winner, Robbie Helms. I salute Hank Caston after an unlucky break there, running into a spun car. He still brings it back home in 2nd position. Brian Edmonds with a good 3rd position, and that is your top 3 finishers here in Bristol, Tennessee, after 210 laps around this oversized stadium here. All right, folks, that'll have to do it for tonight. Next week, we'll be back with the first race in the 2nd round of playoffs, and we'll show you that bracket one more time. Let me see. Rockingham will be the place of action, and as said, Caston will move to that middle column, and Robbie Helms will move to that middle column, and I'm fairly sure Edwards will be too. I'm fairly sure Brian Edmonds will also be there, and Hayes, well, he'll be on the edge there. But next week we will start the 2nd round. Only 8 drivers left in that 2nd round of playoffs. Rockingham and North Wilkesboro. Rockingham, I've actually never ever driven there myself. North Wilkesboro, another short track, so that'll be another difficult one for the guys. And then the final will be 3 weeks from today in Charlotte. Oops, wrong button. So once again, there's your final results. Robbie Helms, Hank Caston, Brian Edmonds, your top 3 finishers. Next week will be 8 drivers left in the playoffs. We'll start the 2nd round, and once again, a winner goes automatically through to the next round. So next week, and in Rockingham, and then the one in North Wilkesboro, whoever wins there puts himself into that final, and the other 2 will have to do it on points. That'll be it for tonight, folks. My name is Mark. This is Short Shift Broadcasting from Bristol, Tennessee. We bid you good night. Stay safe out there and be kind to one another.